what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Titus Peoples, and we are back with another episode of When Discussion Strikes. I have a very special guest here. She's very talented. She sings, she acts. Booch is in the building.
Hi.
Booch O'Connell.
Hi.
So, Booch, how did you come up with that name?
Booch has been my family nickname since I was a baby. And I have like a really big like nickname kind of family.
Oh, same here. Like,
yeah,
you know,
and
like,
it spirals like one nickname to the next to the next. So like my mom and my grandma just started calling me that when I was like a little baby, and then it stuck. So like, you know.
And you know what's funny? We in the African American community, like we do the same thing. Like all my cousins have nicknames. I got a cousin named Grunt, got a cousin named Goose, Tank, Peanut, Plum.
That's
like
cute.
It's crazy. And like we're all just about the same age, so like you could just imagine a bunch of grown adults calling other yo Goose, come here, yo Peanut.
That's
like,
what's gonna be like with us too, like when we get older, because I don't see it stopping. Like,
yeah, of course
my parents
not.
are crazy, so let's see what that turns into later.
Absolutely. But it gets kind of weird when like you're out in the street and everyone's like, hey yo Goose, and you be like, who the hell is Goose? Like, nah, but yo, so that's kind of funny though. Like, how long have you been acting?
Since I was 7, so
Wow.
It's been a while.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, 18.
18. Wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what have you done? Like, you know what I mean? Give us a little filmography on Booch.
Okay, what have I done? I mean, I like forget everything I do like all the time, like from one day to the next. But I've done The Americans. I've done The Blacklist. I was in Oblivion at like
Yes.
Tom Cruise. Yeah. Like a bunch of commercials, like TV stuff, some film stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's great. So,
Yeah.
in the world of acting, there's a lot of preparation. Like, you know, like you have to get into character. Like, you have to set the mode. Like, the tone has to be set. So when the assistant goes action, you're in character. How does Booch prepare for her roles? Like, what goes on in your mind right before the word action is said?
Well, I'm like big on analyzing it and just trying to like prepare with the written material as much as I can, and like really get an understanding of like the story and everything like that, and just kind of the inspirations and everything. So with like my scenes, I'll kind of like annotate everything and kind of come up with like character backstories. And like the other day I was preparing for something and I just had like a Google Doc out, and I was just like writing this whole thing like as if I was from like first person, I guess, like of how I felt, so that you have like some life behind it, and it's not just like how you think it should sound. You're like trying to make it something that you feel yourself.
Exactly. Like you're trying to put a piece of you in every character. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That you play, like, you know what I mean? So, like, you want your characters to feel like you.
Yes. And if it's something that I don't really know much about, like a type of, like somewhere that I'm not familiar with or whatever, I'll want to look up like that culture and just like articles about like the people, if they're real, and like watch videos of what they've done,
Absolutely.
So I'll have like that. Because I did a role where I played like a child murderer.
Oh, wow.
And that was fun. It was for like a special, like a Halloween special for ID Channel.
Oh, okay.
It was called Bloody Marys. And they're all like killers named Mary. So,
Nice.
yeah, and I was the British child murderer, Mary Bell, who's
Bell.
real. So I
Okay.
looked up her backstory, getting that.
That's dope. So, like, there's a lot of crazy things that go on set. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the craziest thing you've seen happen on set?
Well, now, like, it's okay. Now, I'm 18, so like maybe things are gonna start to get crazy because I don't like need my parents around on the jobs I go to. But when you're a kid, they really keep everything like safe and nothing really spills out and gets too wild, which
you
is
are
really
18,
good.
so like you know what I mean, like your mother and father have to be on set to like some extent. So
well, not anymore, but before.
Cool.
So, but something I did like slip through the cracks is I was doing a modeling job when I was little, and they had like old, like, you know, adults like doing their own thing for that company, and one of the models like flashed the guys who like worked there, like the photographers and whoever was on the set. I think she thought she was gonna get like paid more or something like that, and like sis tried it, but it was like you know, I mean, that's not too scarring for me because like it was a girl. It's like whatever, it could be worse, but that was like, whoa, all right.
Could have been a creepy old guy.
Yeah.
Which segues into my next topic. Like, you know, like you are a very young person in this industry coming up, and then there's a lot. Like, we watch the news and we see a lot of this Harvey Weinstein stuff and this Me Too stuff. As a young actress at your age right now, what's the best advice that you could give to a young person coming up to protect themselves against this kind of stuff? Because, like, I personally feel it's disgusting. Like, you know what I mean? It truly is.
For
like,
sure.
you know, like we're all there to work, take care of our families, and, like, just be creative. Like, you know, like, there's no need for all the extra stuff. But, quite frankly, this is an industry that's been built on that kind of stuff for, I guess, since, like, the conception of film. Like, you know, like, it's sickening. But, you know, so what word of advice can you give to these young girls? Or like, just anybody, because it's happening to guys, girls, everybody. So
I would say to be careful of anything that you receive through social media, like work or possible work through that, because that is really, could be really shady. You know what I mean? Like, you need to make sure it's through a professional source and use the internet and research people's names and see, like, if they're credible. Do they actually have any work that they've done before? Like, you know what I mean? Are people saying that they're a scammer or that they're, like, doing, like, shady things? Like, you know, like, I got a DM for some kind of, like, modeling job, but it was like, oh, it'll only be an hour in, like, Brighton Beach. And I'm like, and it was some other things in there, too, that it just seemed like fake. Sketchy, like, it was like sketchy. The Instagram account didn't look like real. And I was like, yo, this sounds like human trafficking. Like, I do not need to model that bad. I love it, but I'm not going to do something sus like that because you never know. Like, they didn't look legit.
Listen, I tell people all the time, do not take any jobs off of Craigslist. Like, Craigslist is the worst place. Do not, like, I don't understand this. Like, I don't trust a site where you could buy sex and a refrigerator from the same place.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? It's sketchy as hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Craigslist is probably one of the world's most sketchiest places ever for apartments or anything. And this is not a shot to take down Craigslist or anything, but it's just weird. Like they sell everything there.
Yeah.
So, so be careful of them Craigslist jobs. So, on set, like, how can you protect yourself? Because, like, you know, like I feel like the creepiness starts from the email, the way they introduce themselves, and then on set. How can a person protect themselves on set?
I'd say to make sure that if you're going, especially if you're going somewhere far and you're like a little bit, maybe like out of Manhattan, like out of the boroughs or whatever, that you're going with somebody. Like, you're not traveling out somewhere, like, by yourself at night, especially. Like, be sure that you're safe and you're telling people where you're going. Like, I mean, my parents will, like, wait in the car for hours until I'm done with something. Like, you know, if it seems, like, a little, not, like, actually dangerous, but, like, you don't really know, like, who knows who these people are. Like, if I haven't worked with them before, kind of, like, wait in the car, like, which I'm very grateful for that they do stuff like that to make sure I'm safe. But
absolutely. And, you know, like, shout out to the moms and dads that's out there 100% behind their kids and their goals and stuff like that. Cause, like, we gotta go back to protecting our children and stuff like that, making sure children are safe. Cause, like, sex trafficking is real, like, the abuse in the industry is real. So yeah, like we gotta protect our children. We gotta protect everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. So, have you ever heard any crazy stories about people without mentioning names or like getting into like extreme like depth? Like, do you know anybody that's been in this Me Too thing or no?
Actually, I was just on, like, I haven't really heard much about it because I feel like people kind of, like, take their, like, serious issues and kind of mostly, like, keep them to themselves and also don't want to, like, I think people are also scared to be, like, that person that's, like, talking about stuff that happens to them. Like, I don't know, everybody's always trying to tiptoe to kind of, like, not make anyone look bad and stuff like that, which is why this movement's, like, so important, honestly, you know? But I hadn't really heard about it until I was on the Mel Robbins show about like online predators, and the girl I was there with, something happened to her with like a photographer, and the photographer was like really shady and kind of like took advantage of like, you know, a girl wanting to model, and it's just really disgusting, and it's really like disgusting. People really do like whatever they can, doesn't matter, like underage, like people do anything really.
Crazy.
Not the girls, I mean like the bad ones, you know what I mean? Because like, I don't know.
And then right, like, as I often tell people, the role that you want, if it's for you, is for you. Please do not put your lives in jeopardy for a role. Like, you don't need the role that bad. Like, trust me, do not do anything crazy. And I'm not trying to put this on anybody, like, females doing anything for roles and stuff like that. Because, like, we've had that, because, like, we've heard that happening to, like, girls going as far as, like, yo, listen, man, I really want this role. It's going to look good on paper. So, you know, if you're free this weekend, like, you know, like, we've heard those stories. So, but, like, it's not that serious. Like, the role, whatever role you're trying to get, if it's for you, it's for you.
Yeah.
Please do not put yourself in a predicament to where you feel like you have to go the extra mile to get the role, because it may not work out. It may not work out.
That's true. Yeah. I think
may not work out.
That they're getting a lot better with like keeping everything, you know, safe now.
Absolutely.
And it just depends also like where you get, I don't know, where you find out about certain things, and just like, especially if you're just starting out, you really just need to be like careful of like tracking names and all that, and just like need to keep in mind, like, I don't know, I just feel like a lot of the stuff I do is like very protected, so like, I don't know. No. It's just like,
no.
If it doesn't seem protected, then it's not like legit in the first place, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely, because we hear a lot of these crazy stories, man, and it's very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. And I want to say this, don't be afraid to come forth either. Like, if you know somebody that's doing these bad things, say something, because if you don't, you're just as guilty as the person that's going around here doing these things. So, like, say if I knew a guy that was out here taking advantage of people and I don't say anything, I'm just as guilty as him. Because I know what he's doing. I don't care if I know him 10 years, 15 years, 5 days ago, 15 minutes ago. If I know you're doing something wrong, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come and talk to you. I'm going to be like, yo, bro, I'm hearing some crazy things, and I just hope it's not true.
Yeah.
I'm about to go to the authorities, and I want you to stop. I'm about to call some people, and whatever you're doing is going to get shut down.
Yeah.
So, like, this is your fair warning. Like, you know, stop. And there's also that thing in the back of my head. If they think that they could get away with it one time, they'll try it again.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, you got to catch it when, like, I don't play that. Like,
that's not, like, the time to be, like, loyal to people. You know what I'm saying? Because like, that's, like, somebody else that, even if you don't know the victim, it's, like, you should be loyal out of, like, empathy to them, even if you don't really know them. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, someone who's going to be affected by that matters a lot more than somebody even if you know them for a long time and all that.
Exactly. And that's what's going on in this industry. Like, you know, a lot of these guys, like these higher ups, have very, very top-notch friends that can protect them and be like, yo, bro, I just got caught up in something, man. Can you just protect my name and stuff? But that's not the time, as you said, like, be like, yo, bro, you put yourself out there, hike that, doing this creepy stuff. So, bro, I can't stand behind no creep.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if I stand behind a creep, like, you're only guilty by association. Like, you know, like, so, like, if I'm friends with you and you doing this, I could just imagine what people were thinking about me.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, like, there's a lot of disbelief of victims, and I think that somebody that knows something else is going on to, like, just out of support and, like, to somebody that's being affected by that really has the responsibility to make that person, like, to really prove that person's credibility, you know what I mean? Because people really do not believe when people get, like, assaulted or abused. You know, people are very much, like, gonna say, like, that they're making it up for, like, fame or for attention or whatever it might be. So, yeah, for sure. Like, if you know something's going on, it's really important.
Yeah. You know, like, yeah, like, we're growing up in some sickening times in this industry where, like, creativity is supposed to be the main purpose. Like, yo, like, we come there to be creative. Like, we come there to make our dreams come true. Like, I shouldn't have to worry about a guy touching me on set or, like, all this other creepy stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, it's, like, the fact that it's probably getting safer, like, I'm sure that it was a lot worse, like, back when. Like, it's been, like, on an increase of getting better, but now it's just, like, everybody hears about it. But the stuff that they must have been going through, like, all the way back when, like, really terrible.
Really terrible. And then please, do not wait 10, 15 years to come up with these stories. I know it's easier said than done because you're probably dealing with a lot of trauma, but, like, find a way to get past the trauma, because in those 10 years, had you wait to say something, that's 10 years of this person doing it to other people.
Yeah.
So, like, if it happened to you on Monday at 2 o'clock, by 2:30, the whole world needs to know, like, yo, this guy did so-and-so.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Like, if it's possible, like, that's definitely, like, the best way. But, I mean, at least now, with all the stories coming out later, it's like somebody's kind of brave enough to come forward, and then, like, everybody is like, all right, this is okay. Like, I can actually say that this happened to me, you know? And even then, it's crazy because people are still, like, getting, you know, hate and, like, getting attacked that they're, like, lying and why are you making this up 20 years later and all that, you know what I mean?
It's sad. And, right, the real question is, why did they wait so long? People deal with trauma. Trauma is a very, very real thing. Like, you know, like the trauma, the guilt and stuff like that, thinking it's your fault, like, that's a very, very real thing. So I understand why. That's why I said it's very easier said than done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's people that's been sexually abused or sexually assaulted that haven't come forth for, like, 20, 30, even 40 years after the assault was done, because they feel that in their mind that there's something now where they go, oh my goodness, I could talk now. Other people are talking now. I could tell my story.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we're gonna switch the topic up because, like, you know, like, Booch, man, like you're a great person, very familiar with your work. Yo, and guess what, guys? She got me a gift. You know what?
Yes, I did.
She got me a gift. You see that? You know what? Booch is the first person on here that got me a gift. Oh, you know
it's
what she got?
It's a promotional mug from my song.
Yo, listen, she got music out. Check out her music. All the links are going to be in the bio. Like, yo, like, she bought me gifts, man. Like, yo, y'all got to do better when y'all come up here, man. Like.
Look, I mean, I set the bar now.
Yo, she set the bar. Guys. Yo, she bought me a gift. Who else bought me a gift on this show? Like, y'all bought me headaches, but, like, you remember, like, yo, y'all ain't bring me no gift. But, like, thank you, Booch. Like.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the music. Like, what kind of music do you make? Like, pop music?
Yeah, I mean, now, like, because I've been doing all this stuff since I was, like, so young. And, I mean, I'm still young now.
Yeah, absolutely. But 18, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did at 18.
So it's kind of like coming into, like, your own and just figuring out, like, where you truly fit, especially with music, you know what I mean? Because it's, like, you might like a lot of different things, but you really have to figure out, like, where your natural, like, sweet spot is. And I'm, like, finding that for me is, like, pop R&B, like, kind of with more, like, soulful influences, because that's where
Ariana Grande kind of like vibe-ish.
Yeah, like I just also love, I also love like, you know, the kind of like throwback, like Sade, like, you know, like that kind of vibe. Like I love all that kind of stuff. I mean, my parents have me listening to a lot of like types of, you know, like older music and stuff.
All right.
So that's like where I feel like that suits me, and like I love songwriting. So yeah, I'm like trying to make my own thing.
Nice. So is there any artists that you're trying to work with, or like you're like trying to get collabs with?
I don't know. I mean, like there's so many great people out there.
If you could work with somebody right now, who would you want to work with?
I'm thinking, like,
it could be a rap artist. It could be a singer, like just somebody that Booch with so and so, like, you know what I mean, like that song right there. Who would you feature on somebody, like, you know?
Yeah, I would really love to do like a fun kind of like R&B-ish, kind of trap kind of vibe, like with a rapper. Like I would love to do something with like. It would be fun to have like an A Boogie feature, like Trippy, or like on like let's get Booch and Pop Smoke on something, you know?
You know what? Oddly enough,
if anyone's listening someday,
I could see that happening. Like, and you know what? Like, it's so crazy now that everybody's working with everybody. So like, it's not too far fetched. Like, you know, like you could turn on the stereo one day, go on a computer one day, and see Elton John with a Pop Smoke song, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy it is.
Now that you said it, like, they gotta make that happen.
Yo, listen, Elton John and Pop Smoke, like, yo, that'd be different, like, so that's the way the industry is now. Everybody's working with each other, tapping into new sounds. Or be like, yo, listen, man, like Elton, like he had the piano thing going, but yo, get my boy Elton on the phone. So, Booch, where can the people find you?
Okay, like social media and all that. All right, I'm Booch NYC everywhere. So BOOCH NYC on Instagram, Twitter. That's my website. Facebook for those of you on Facebook.
Yeah, like I don't know who still do Twitter, but like it's pretty much the same thing on Twitter, right?
Yeah, same thing everywhere.
Same thing everywhere. So like y'all know me, I am Titus Peoples on all platforms. So you can follow me, Titus Peoples, on Facebook, you know. And yes, that is my real name. Like, you know, that's not a family name. Titus Peoples is my real name. Like, do you know how many people really think that Titus Peoples isn't my real name? Be like, yo, bro, that's dead serious my government name. On my social security, on my state ID, that is my real name, Titus Peoples. They be like, yo, that's not possible, bro.
They're jealous. What can I say?
I'm like, yo, listen. I have creative parents. They came up with a dope name, and that's what it is. So, Booch, like you very dressed up very nice. Well,
thank you.
I would assume it was for the interview, but I also know that today that this airs, it is Valentine's Day. So, like, you got plans after this?
It is Valentine's Day. We'll see what happens. But nothing like.
Right.
I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, because I'm about to jump in your business. Like, yo, is Booch single? Is Booch single? Who's in Booch DM right now? Like, who slid in Booch DM? Like, yo, Booch, I'm a big fan of the work. Like, you.
DMs are being kind of. I'm busy working right now,
Absolutely.
so I'm just gonna, you know, not really be looking at that right now.
Cool, absolutely. Because, like, you got a whole future ahead of you. Like, very familiar with the work I see, and like you have a very bright future ahead of you, Booch.
Thank you.
No, thank you for coming. Like, you know, man, like you doing me a service by coming so I can introduce you to the world.
Well, thank you for having me and
Absolutely.
like, you know, talking to me about these important topics because somebody has to, you know, and keep it going. Like, yeah.
So, with that being said, that's this episode of When Discussion Strikes. I'm Titus Peoples, Booch, and we out. Thanks for watching.
Bye.